everybody, welcome once again. It's Intuitive Edge. Time to take a look at our month ahead for August. Now, I just did my review of the month ahead for July. In looking at the month of July, I was surprised how much I got the energies of everything right. Everything from something would take up the news cycle that would be the only thing talked about the whole month. It would be basically about this one event. What I missed or didn't quite see right, I guess, was that there would be some sort of thing to do with Iran, a missile hitting like over in Europe somewhere. So, and getting dragged into like the World War thing. I was seeing more of like a world event, but in listening to that again, everything else was really, really spot on. And it was kind of like, wow. Because it really did with this Trump thing. There were people, I did see people dying, people going to the hospital, that people had a soul contract to leave with this event to help wake people up. And thinking of that in terms of what happened with the Trump debacle at the rally fits everything to the T. For some reason, I had picked in something to do on the world stage with this. So I'm glad that nothing like that happened, but I'm wondering if there is something else out in the future. Perhaps I was pulling in something else going on with perhaps Iran and some world figures. I wondered if I was mixing the two, the July energy with something else coming in. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to see and really focus in on the energies, because I really picked up the energies of it very, very good on that last July video. So let's look at August. I know a lot of people are talking about August, and there's a lot of fear being generated about what's taking place in August. So I'm hoping that maybe what I saw in July, it wasn't a blend of a couple of things, okay? The Trump thing definitely fit 100% with everything I mentioned last month's video. But let's see if there's something else. But what I want to focus in on is the energies for August. So I wrote out my questions, and we're going to focus on what energies, what lessons, what we need to know about what's coming up, the underlying issue, the major concern. So I have a new deck. I'm going to be using a new deck today. This is the Grimalkin's Curious Cats Tarot. One of my wonderful subscribers and patrons sent me this. So thank you. You know who you are. So I'm going to use this deck and see what energies I pick up for August. I have my 9 questions written down. I'm going to shuffle up and I'll be right back on and we'll get started. All right, so first card out is the major focus. We have the King of Wands. King of Wands. Now, as a major focus, King of Wands refers to leadership. It can refer to heads of state. And let me take a look at this artwork here. Okay, so as I get pulled into this artwork, I'm seeing this King of Wands representing world leadership on some scale. We have a crow or a raven flying across the sun. And there's a fire here and a little tiny bird the cat's focused on. So there could be some issues with protecting, world leaders protecting or desiring to protect others. I'm going to get more into this as we go and see what else we get, and then we'll pull it all together at the end. Okay. The underlying focus is the Death card. Oh boy. Okay. Interesting card. Death in tarot refers to things changing, transformation, things changing like nothing else could. Okay. There could be a lot of upheaval, a lot of change, a lot of adapting to different scenarios. Okay. The one thing I'm getting for this month in August is that a lot of the upheaval is going to be exacerbated by what people mentally consume. So, news. Things are going to look bleak, perhaps, and there may be a lot of talk or chatter on the news that might stir up people's fear up here. I think that there will be a lot of it, if there is an issue or a problem, that it could be worse up here than it really is. But it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect between what's happening around and what's being stirred up here. Like it's worse. It's not as bad as it seems, but it feels like it. And so there's a lot of, I'll get into that a little more. There feels like there's a bit of a disconnect there. Okay, I'll move on. The energy that is leaving, oh boy, the Six of Wands. Now, the Six of Wands it's kind of a messenger card, not quite like the Knight or the Page, but this is like news coming in. There's like being foretold. So I think what's leaving, that's really interesting. This is okay, we told you to get prepared. We told you there's stuff coming in. We told you, this is kind of like I told you, the messenger has come in and given the message. What we do with that, what we heed. Now, everybody out there probably knows it's always a good idea to have, supplies on hand. A little extra food, a little extra water, supplies, whatever your needs are, prepare. That's like, okay, that's been the message and that's what's leaving because that's been done. It did its course. Next, the energy coming in. Okay, we have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, weighing your options. Do I do this? Do I do that? What do I do here? What do I do now? There could be some, I almost use the word ambivalence, but I don't know if that's the right word. But kind of like, I don't know what to do. I'm feeling a little bit like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I need to do? How do I move through this? How do I handle this? What do I do? I really feel like with this, with some people, especially maybe most of everyone out there, that the way will be shown. It feels like this is going to feel and look maybe really chaotic and bad. It could. There could be something that happens that makes people freak out and the news is blowing it up, making it look 10 times worse. But if people just center in, they'll be able to navigate forward. It's not going to be rocket science. It's not going to be a mystery. And it's not going to be leaving people in the lurch. Like if you just center in, and I don't know who I'm talking to when I say you, I'm just talking. As we center in, the way will be shown. It'll be natural. It'll come. Okay, the lesson. I'm back to that Two of Pentacles again really quick on the energy coming in. Feels like there is some decisions to make. People will be choosing. Those who can center themselves here and not just freak out and make decisions out of fear, but just center in and go, okay, what do I do now? This is how I go forward. Those are going to be the people that move through this more easily. Than those who are frantic. Okay. The lesson. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. The lesson is the Ace of Pentacles. Aces are new beginnings. Pentacles are about values, money. There's something new coming in with this. This is going to be the beginning of the separation from the old. The old way of doing things, this Two of Pentacles energy, having to navigate, what do I do? There's going to be a new thing coming in right on the heels of this. having to do with money, values, things like that. What is the help? Ooh, we have the Nine of Wands. Okay, Nine of Wands. This is such interesting artwork on these cards. So here's the 9 wands, starting with this one down here. As I was looking at this, I noticed how this card looks a lot like a set of these wands, I should say. Look like like a set of stairs going up. And this card is generally about waiting for something, being on the defense, kind of holding your ground and holding out. And this is the help. What helps us? This to me is like there's steps. It's like it's on the heels of this Ace of Pentacles, this new thing coming in. It's like we're going to maneuver through this. So whatever, I know there's a lot of doom and gloomers right now about August, and it could be a challenging month, but it feels like there's a way through this and a way forward. Okay. I'm just stuck back on this for a minute. Seeing this cat, he fell in the water, he's wet. And it's like, okay, here's the water. Let me look at this again. So this is all water around him. He has to go through this kind of obstacle course over this turbulent water. He's got to go through something that is going to help him get, and this little birdie is kind of like, come on, this way. You got to go through this. You got to go through it. But you could spend your time here soaking wet, fretting, afraid, or you could just move through this. Just move through it and you'll get through it. What do we need to know? We have the 10 of Pentacles. This is actually a really good card. What do we need to know? Things are going to work out. As bad as things might look in some places, I always go back to what's happening in your life. Because sometimes things happen a half a world away, and it comes on the news, and it gets everybody freaked out and afraid, but it has nothing to do with you. Have you ever run into a scenario like that? Something happens over in Egypt or Iran or Israel, and you're in, Delaware or Alaska. Does that really affect you? No. But the news and all of the freaking out makes people afraid, and then they're like, oh, what's going to happen? This is about you. This is about your energy in August. This is about your choice to get caught up in the frenzy and the fear, or to just say, okay, this is happening. What do I need to do next? And focus on you. Come from your heart and focus on you. What do I need to do? What do I need to do for me, for my family, for my loved ones, for my community? Whatever it is that is yours to do, don't neglect that. It's all about you. Okay, it is all about you. I really think things are going to work out, but there's some shifting and changing, and we kind of have to go through a little bit of a challenge. This little obstacle course with these steps across the water. It's like, you got to go through it. You got to go through something, but it's going to be okay. What should be done? 9 of Pentacles. What should be done? This is a card of success, abundance, gratitude, thankfulness. Maybe the challenge will be to look for what you're grateful for. Do you have your health? Do you have your life? Do you have what you need in that moment? Maybe things are tough, but what do you have? What do you have to be grateful for? This is what should be done, is all of this gratitude energy coming in. That's interesting. Next card is, what is this card? 22. Okay, as I mentioned, this is a new deck. Now, this particular tarot deck has 2 extra cards in it, which I found interesting. And so when I looked at this, I'm like, 22, that's looks like a major arcana, but that's not a major number. So I'm like, what? So I had to look it up in the little book here. Okay, let's just see this card here, and then I'm going to read it. So remember, this is the outcome card for August. Let me read this. 3 cats. I'll show you this again. These 3 cats find comfort in each other's company. Although each one possesses a different personality, relaxation washes over them when they are together. They accept each other into their space without defensiveness or hissing. They know that as a group, they are protected. It is our connections to others where we find our strength, our unity, our security, our sense of love and belonging. When unity arrives, look for relationships that create a sense of wholeness, where you are free to be as you are, your true self, perfectly imperfect. When we are in a supportive group, we can act without fear of judgment or criticism. When you are surrounded by those who love and accept you, even when you are not showing your best side, or maybe say the less than appropriate thing out loud, a channel of trust is formed. There is powerful supportive energy that comes from this connection, as it will create space for security and abundance to flow. Now that to me is very, very deep and interesting. In light of what August may bring, challenges, there is an underlying influence of moving through issues and problems. And this seems to talk about relying on each other, finding the common ground, realizing that we are not separate. We all are linked together. What happens to some actually happens to us all on an energetic level. We can choose to take the high road in terms of our fear and what we allow to overtake us, but still holding that space, knowing that we are all together in this, whatever happens. So maybe through this, humanity is going to come together. I do want to say, because I felt this coming in before this year, I felt an energy coming in that says the war machine that has always used war to stir up this, them, and fighting, the energy of that just isn't quite going to work on the souls that are here now. It's like we've been there, we've done that. It worked in the past. I don't think those war tactics, the energy put forward into dividing people, is going to continue to be able to work as it did. It will still work on some. There will still be some that will cling to their side of the aisle, their political party, their country, and turn a blind eye to what that country does or that political party does and not vet anything. There are still going to be those. But the reliance that some have on being able to foist war upon war upon war, is that energy is just not going to be as easily stabilized into the collective as it used to be. We've come a long way in our evolution, even in the last few decades. Humanity isn't as excited to go to war as maybe in the past. So having this unity card, reliance on others, trust, being vulnerable, but knowing that we are a group, we are not separate. We are individuals having an experience in a whole of a group. Just as there are individual souls from a collective group soul having individual experiences, we still have that group connection together. Let me see what the bottom card is saying. We have the Five of Cups. So this is the overall for August. Not a happy card. So there could be some challenges ahead, okay? But it's all about you. I'm talking you. You individually, and then you as a group, a collective, all of us. It's all about how we handle our energy, whether we go into fight or flight or faith. The Five of Cups is a challenging energy. It does bring in sadness. Something may happen that causes us to change. And we had that Death card, right? The second card in. The underlying energy is this card of transformational change. So whatever comes in August, we must know that it's not something that we can just ignore. We have to go through something a little challenging. But as we do, the way will show itself. The waves will be parted, I guess is a way I want to say that. And the stepping stones will be there. It's like take one step at a time and move through this, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Now, there could be some challenges. I don't dismiss that. Because that Death card is pretty powerful, and it brings in, like, we're going to be moving. And it does have to do with kings, of heads of state. Some of them are trying to hang on to things that are basically falling apart, as this fire energy shows. It's consuming this over here, and this cat is focused on trying to save, or not save, but that's just what I'm looking at. He's trying to focus on this little bird, but something is like falling apart at the same time. So we may not be able to salvage what was. As we're moving into this new era, this new time, this new collective experience, we may not be able to salvage, but we can learn from the past, move through this time, and know that this energy is helping us move forward. And that's new beginnings. All right, everybody. That's what I have for August. We'll have to see what comes up this month. Thanks, everybody. Hold on to your hats. It could be a bumpy ride for some. But just know, if it's happening, if something bad is happening half a world away, does it really affect you? This is all about you and your energy. I want to say that again, just to reiterate. It's about you and your energy and what is yours to do. If it's not affecting you directly, then move through what is affecting you directly and just move forward with your life. Okay? Because there's that too. I just wanted to say that again. All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your looking into this with me. And I hope everybody has a great month of August. We'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.